Welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is a date that's basically an anagram. 2012, 2021. You can play around with the dates and you'll find that 2021 can become 2012. It's a day when we've got the Council of Governors. They're going to be giving us an update on the situation in the country as far as the health situation is concerned and their preparedness to deal with this. That's going to be from 12:30 p.m. and our reporter at that event is John Jacob Curia, and also Zainab will be giving us some briefing from the Inspector General of Police. We had him speak earlier. The full report coming in our bulletins that will follow up later. And we also keep up with what's happening in the world of sports and also in the courts and business. Right now, we continue with our conversation about sport. Earlier today, we had the African and Kenyan rally champion Carl Tindo speaking to us about the 2021 season. He won the African and national double. But right now, we talk to a team that won the Manufacturers Championship and also the Drivers and Co-Drivers Championship, Toyota Gazoo Racing. We are joined from Finland by the team principal of TGR, a former rally driver himself, Jari-Mattilatvala. Very good morning to you.
Very good morning.
All right, thank you. And just before we continue the conversation with Jari-Mattilatvala, our sign language interpreter, is Susan Tuku. And Jari, let me start with this. For you, it's a transition for you. From 2017, you've been with Toyota Gazoo Racing as a driver, and in 2020, you were racing under your own banner as a privateer at Latvala Motorsport. Then you got that memo. Listen, you're taking over from Tommy Mäkinen. What was it for you to transition from being the driver for the team to the one now in charge of the drivers in the team?
It was actually just 1 year ago when this announcement came out that I will be a team principal, and for sure that moment it was a little bit, how would I say, slightly mixed feeling, but also I knew that there's a new chapter in my life coming, which was very exciting. For sure, the transition in that point was a bit difficult because then I had to accept that I won't be driving in a world level anymore. And then back then it was feeling a little bit difficult. But now I can tell you, after 1 year, I feel very comfortable that being team principal and not driving anymore in the World Rally Championship. But it's been nice to see things over the year, and I've been really enjoying the World Rally Championship. And I'm also driving events with my historic cars, which is accurate with the Toyota. So this has been very important for myself, and to keep the, let's say, the satisfaction up when I can drive myself also in the World Rally Championship. But yeah, I can tell you, honestly, that time it was slightly mixed feelings, but now I feel very, very happy with the situation.
I would like to quote you from the FIA press conference on Thursday night that was in Paris. And you said that one of the biggest lessons you've had over these years, and many people, taking for granted, was managing people. How has that growth been for you in the year 2021?
I came in an area which I had never such a big experience. When you have a team like in a rally, we have around almost 100 people, and then of course in Finland we have about 150 people working in a workshop, plus then the freelancers and all the people in Cologne who are building engines. So, but anyway, if you think about the rally where you have 100 people, I had no experience that kind of amount of people, how to manage them. Of course, the team structure was so good, thanks to Tommy Mäkinen, that everything was really working well, and everything was running them basically on the system that there was no need to really do anything. But of course, as a driver, I had been only working always towards my own target, and to be winning stages, to try to win the rallies and then bring the points for myself and the team. But now, the only thing I can do is to make sure that everybody is feeling confident, happy, between the people, the employees, and then the drivers. And if everybody has done their job well enough, then we can expect good results. But there is no any other way we can influence for the results.
Now, let's move on now to the season. And it all started, what I would say, with a bang. Sébastien Ogier winning in Monaco. And then he went on to win the Rally Croatia. It was a good start for the Toyota team over the first, can we say, about 3-4 events. And also Elvin Evans winning in Portugal. How did the first 4 races of this season go for Toyota? And what were some of the things that you were picking up from your drivers and also from the car as the season progressed?
I felt very nervous going to the Monte Carlo because it was the first event for myself, and I didn't know how it's gonna be, how it's going to be, and also this transition that if we don't get success, but this was very, very nice relief after Monte, when we did such a great success, and it was really nice to be at the podium at the end of the rally. Really enjoyed that feeling. And then we went to the second event in Artica, which was our home event, and we expected to be strong there, but actually we didn't win there. That was a bit of a disappointment. But then again, after that, going to the Croatia and Portugal, I must say that this was, I was really happy to see that how strong our drivers were, consistent, and also that the Yaris was competitive all the time. Of course, there was some little situation where we could see that we could have done better, but generally that we knew that we are all the time able to fight for the victory. This was very, very important.
So now let's come to the Safari. Toyota has big history in the Safari, with drivers like Valdegaard, Kankunen, and locally we have Ian Duncan. What was the feeling when you came to this country and all the vibes that you were hearing about Toyota and the expectations on your team?
Toyota has a huge history in Kenya Safari Rally. It was the rally where the Toyota was investing most, I think the most money on the single event of the season especially in the 80s and the 90s. It was the event which was most important to win for Toyota, and so we knew this heritage. And then I had never driven Kenya Safari Rally myself. My father had been there 2001, and I had seen pictures and videos. But it was an event which I would have wanted to do myself. But it was so exciting to come there, and I'm glad that I was able to see the recce, went to the recce, see the stages, and I would expect that there will be a lot of drama in the rally, and yes, it was once again. So in the Safari was, I think if you think about the season, I said it was the most exciting event of the season. At the very beginning of the rally, we looked like we are not gonna get the podium from the rally. Eventually we got 1 and 2, and how things changed over there, this was very amazing.
All right. Well, so Mr. Latvala, just speaking to us, just Jari-Mattilatvala, team principal, Toyota Gazoo Racing World Rally Team, about the 2021 season. We'll be talking about the second half of the season. So, Mr. Latvala, just a quick break, a briefing from the United Democratic Alliance. We can continue with our conversation, Jari-Matti, and
yes,
let's take a look at how, for you, it turned out for the drivers towards the end. 2 wins for Kalle Rovanperä, and at a very young age, becoming the youngest WRC winner. What was that for him? How have you seen him grow, given that at the age of 21, people are still knocking on the doors of getting a win in a WRC event?
If you look at Kalle, he was actually, after the first 2 events, he was actually leading the championship. And then we went to Croatia, where he drove less than 5 kilometers, and he crashed quite heavily off the road. I think it was a very important learning curve for him, because actually winning the championship, it needs a lot. Winning a single event, yes, it needs a lot, but then it is another story to win the championship. You have to be so consistent whole year. You need to be strong in every event. You can only afford 2 mistakes per season if you want to win the championship. And then you could see that there's a little bit time on the springtime that Kalle was bit struggling, but then he came back and really, really strongly taking those 2 victories in the 21 season. This was for me telling that how talented he is, and how well he is capable of learning things and processing them to become the world champion in the future.
Well, Jari-Mattilatvala, team.
Now let's get back to our conversation that we had with the team principal of Toyota Gazoo Racing, Jari-Mattilatvala, as we close this. And Mr. Latvala was telling us about the importance of being consistent throughout the season and collecting the points. And that is how Sebastian Ogier won an 8th World Championship alongside Julian Ingrassia. And then they also won the Manufacturers Championship. So coming back over to you, Mr. Latvala, let us first talk about the impact of Sebastian Ogier and his departure now, and the fact that he's going to be sharing a drive with Esa-Pekka Lappi in the coming year, and what Lappi would bring to the team alongside Elvin Evans and Kalle Rovanperä as the scoring drivers. And you also have got Takamoto Katuta as your 4th driver.
Yeah, it's a new concept which hasn't been actually seen in the Toyota Gazoo Racing World Rally Team before, that we are sharing a seat for the 3rd car. So we know that Sebastian is an 8-time world champion. How important to have him in the team is because there are events where he can win and score points for the team. So his role is very important next year. He will start from Monte Carlo. He is not going to drive in Sweden, but then we know that we have Esa-Pekka Lappi, who's a fast flying thing, so he can be those events like, he could be very fast, like Finland, of course, then Sweden, Estonia. So I think with this mixture, we have a good package for next year, that we should remain strong in the manufacturer championship fight. And then Takamoto Katuta in the Toyota Gazoo Racing Next Generation team. And we are happy to see Taka doing the full season. And I would like to see him to do the same steps what he did over the season 21. One of the great highlights was his 2nd place in Kenya in Safari Rally. And of course, if we could get a couple of more podiums for him, then I would like to see him in the future in the factory team. But he has still time to quite experience. Next year is important for that.
Something else that a lot of people may not know is that it's 2022 is going to be a totally new era for the World Rally Championship. The introduction of the hybrid cars, and that means with the regulations that are there, you've been told, listen, you can only use 2 engines and I think up to 9 of the hybrid, power backup systems. What has been the work behind developing the hybrid cars, and what's your expectation, because it's something that's not happened before in rallying? We're used to the proper petrol engine, loud, with the anti-lag. How is it going to be different next year?
Yeah, there's many rule changes coming up next year. For sure, the most important thing is that the cars will remain exciting. They're actually going to be probably even more exciting, because with less advanced techniques, the cars will go more sideways, and they will sound good and they will look good, which is good for the spectator. For the drivers, maybe a little bit disadvantage, which they need to get used to in the beginning, because there is less suspension travel, back to mechanical steer lever, and no center diff. Of course, then engine needs to do only 2 engines, as you mentioned, so then it's always affecting a little bit for the performance-wise. But on the other hand, hybrid is giving you about 100 brake horsepower more in the period of the special stages when you have batteries in use. So engine-wise, the cars are going to be very, very good. That is not a problem because the hybrid will help, as well. You don't need to push the engine absolutely to the limit. So this is a good factor. But then, of course, there's also less aerodynamics in the car, so less downforce in high speed. But I think it's in a couple of years' time, these cars will get really fast again. So in the beginning, they are a bit slower, but for sure they will get fast when the engineers are working and designing new things.
Jari-Mattilatvala, the team principal of Toyota Gazoo Racing World Rally Team, and everybody was here. They loved it, and I'd like to say, enjoy the holidays. We hope to see you again in Kenya next year. Everyone wants to see Takamoto Katuta back. His name Takamoto would translate to one fire. He really thrilled the Kenyans with his 193 top speed at the safari. That was a part of it. And what's it that you like to see? I mean, what would make you want to come back to Kenya? Because everyone wanted to come back. I mean, Sebastian Ogier had 20,000 euros out, for 2 charities in the country. What is it would want to see from Toyota next year? You'd like for the Kenyan Toyota fans?
It's a rally which it's an adventure. The footage from the rally is probably the most exciting of the whole season. Then for the drivers, it's also an event where you don't need to necessarily drive the maximum, but to be the guy will win who is the smartest. So it's an event. It's a different event than the other WRC events, and I think that's what it makes it so exotic and fascinating. And I think that is the reason I think we are all looking forward to come back.
And you know what we'll tell you? We'll tell you in Swahili. Karibu Kenya, karibu tena, and all the best to Toyota Gazoo Racing World Rally Team. Thank you very much, Jari-Mattilatvala, the team principal, Toyota Gazoo Racing World Rally Team, and enjoy the holidays and have a great 2022.
Thank you so much, and you too.
All right, welcome.
Well, we've spoken about the World Rally Championship season. That's a World Rally Championship winning team. Toyota Gazoo Racing, the team principal, Jari-Mattilatvala, speaking to us from Finland.